What's poppin' T Squad? It's your girl Keisha, and I am here with a brand new series titled This or That. After my Married to Medicine review this past week, and I was discussing how I love Miracle Whip over Hellman's mayonnaise and how I think Hellman's is disgusting. Well, that sparked a debate in the comment section on which one you guys prefer. A lot of you preferred Hellman's or other mayonnaise brands, and y'all were like, Miracle Whip is too sweet, it's nasty, it's disgusting, it's not even mayonnaise, it's a dressing. And I was like, you know what? I think this would be a dope series to do on This or That. Which one do you prefer? Especially with Black folks. You know, we real picky about what we like and what we don't like, and what we feel like we like is what we feel like everybody else should like. So today's first episode of This or That will be Pepsi versus Coca Cola. Which one is your fave? Before I tell you which one I prefer, I'm going to break down both companies for you guys. Let's get it. Let's go. First, we're going to begin with the origin stories of Pepsi since it was invented first. So I got this information from thoughtco.com. And the story goes that the original formula for what would become Pepsi Cola was invented in 1893 by this gentleman, pharmacist Caleb Bradham of New Bern, North Carolina. Like many pharmacists at the time, he operated a soda fountain in his drugstore where he served drinks that he created himself. His most popular beverage was something he called Brad's Drink, a mix of sugar, water, caramel, lemon oil, cola nuts, nutmeg, and other additives. This, in fact, is a photo of his drugstore. You know, drugstores back in the day used to be so cool. It was like a hangout spot for people. Like you could go and they would have soda fountains there where you could drink Coca Cola or Pepsi or any other type of soda beverage, or you could have like root beer floats or ice cream and all of that type of stuff. It was like a hangout spot. And the reason why they had fountain drinks at drugstores back in the day is because a lot of the local drugstores use soda to cure physical ailments. So at the time, many fountain drinks were concoctions or extracts of flavored effervescent drugs. But let's get it back into the tea on how Pepsi was invented. So at first, Pepsi had been marketed as a digestive aid appealing to consumers with the slogan exhilarating, invigorating, aids digestion. And now that shit is horrible for you. But as the brand flourished, the company switched tactics and decided instead to use the power of celebrity to sell Pepsi. In 1913, Pepsi hired Barney Oldfield, a famous race car driver of the era, as a spokesman. He became famous for his slogan, "Drink Pepsi Cola, it will satisfy you." The company would continue to use celebrities to appeal to buyers in the coming decades. You know, Pepsi has been repped by Michael Jackson, Britney Spears, Beyonce, so many more celebrities. So, however, bankruptcy plagued the company. After years of success, Caleb Bradham lost Pepsi Cola, y'all. He gambled on the fluctuations of sugar prices during World War I, believing that sugar prices would continue to rise, but they fell instead, leaving Caleb with an overpriced sugar inventory. Pepsi Cola went bankrupt in 1923. In 1931, after passing through the hands of several investors, Pepsi Cola was bought by the Loft Candy Company, Charles G. Guth. Loft's president struggled to make a success of Pepsi during the depths of the Great Depression. At one point, Loft even offered to sell Pepsi to executives at Coke, who refused to offer a bid. Man, they fumbled the bag on that one, bro. Oh, God. So Guth reformulated Pepsi, and began selling the soda in 12-ounce bottles for just 5 cents, which was twice as much as what Coke offered in its 6-ounce bottles, toting Pepsi as twice as much for a nickel. Pepsi scored an unexpected hit as its nickel nickel radio jingle became the first to be broadcast coast to coast. Eventually, it would be recorded in 55 languages and named one of the most effective ads of the 20th century by Advertising Age. Pepsi made sure it had a reliable supply of sugar during World War II, and the drink became a familiar sight to U.S. troops fighting all across the globe. In the years after the war, the brand would remain long after American GIs had gone home. Back in the States, Pepsi embraced the post-war years. Company president Al Steele married actress Joan Crawford. Oh, no more Wyatt hangers! And she frequently toted Pepsi during corporate gatherings and visits to local bottlers throughout the 1950s. I had no idea about this. By the early 1960s, companies like Pepsi had set their sight on the baby boomers. The first aids appealing to young people, called the Pepsi generation, arrived, followed in 1964 by the company's first diet soda, also targeted at young people. The company was changing in different ways. Pepsi acquired the Mountain Dew, one of my favorites. Oh, but it gives me anxiety, but I love it so much. Pepsi acquired Mountain Dew brand in 1964, and a year later merged with snack maker Frito-Lay, who they're still in business with today. The Pepsi brand was growing up quickly. By the 1970s, this once failing brand was threatening to displace Coca Cola as the top soda brand in the U.S. Pepsi even made international headlines in 1974 when it became the first U.S. product to be produced and sold within the USSR. Wow. Throughout the late 1970s and early 80s, Pepsi generation ads continue to appeal to young drinkers while also targeting older consumers with the series of Pepsi Challenge commercials in store tastings. I remember that growing up. Pepsi broke new ground in 1984 when it hired Michael Jackson, who was in the midst of his Thriller success, to be its spokesperson. The TV commercials reviling Jackson's elaborate music videos were such a hit that Pepsi would hire a number of well-known musicians, celebrities, and others throughout the decade, including Tina Turner, Joe Montana, Michael J. Fox, and Geraldine Ferrero. Pepsi's efforts were successful enough that in 1985, Coke announced that it was changing its signature formula. New Coke was such a disaster that the company had to backtrack and reintroduce its classic formula, something Pepsi frequently took credit for. Wow. But in 1992, Pepsi would suffer a product failure of its own when the spinoff Crystal Pepsi failed to impress Generation X buyers. It soon was discontinued. I remember that. Oh my God. It was Clear Pepsi and it was a flop. But like its rivals, the Pepsi brand has diversified far beyond what Caleb Bradham could ever have imagined. In addition to the classic Pepsi Cola, consumers can also find Diet Pepsi plus varieties without caffeine, without corn syrup, flavored with cherry or vanilla, even an 1893 brand that celebrates its original heritage. The company has also branched out into the lucrative sports drink market with the Gatorade brand, as well as Aquafina bottled water, Amp energy drinks, and Starbucks coffee beverages. I did not know that Starbucks and Pepsi were affiliated. Did not know that at all. Okay, y'all. So now we know the full tea on Pepsi. I wonder, does this help sway your opinions at all? Now let's head over to the Coca Cola brand and get the tea on how they came to be. Okay. In May 1886, Coca-Cola was invented by Dr. John Pemberton, a pharmacist from Atlanta, Georgia. According to the Coca-Cola Company, Pemberton developed the syrup for the famed beverage, which was sampled at the local Jacob's Pharmacy and deemed to be excellent. The syrup was combined with carbonated water to create a new delicious and refreshing drink. Pemberton concocted the famed Coca Cola formula in a three-legged brass kettle in his backyard. Boy, y'all better start inventing some shit. The name of Coca-Cola was a suggestion given by Pemberton's bookkeeper, Frank Robinson. Frank Robinson sound like a black man. It sound like a black man, and I need for him and his family to get their reparations. Frank Robinson was a nigga. Something ain't right about that. As the recipe for the syrup called for coca leaf extract and caffeine from the cola nut, the name Coca-Cola was easy to come up with. The original spelling was Cocakola. However, Robinson, who was known for having excellent penmanship, thought that using two C's in the name would look striking in advertising. Yep, that sounds like a black man. As such, cola became Cola, Cola, and the brand name was born. Robinson can also be credited with creating the first scripted Coca-Cola using the flowing letters that swerve as the famous logo of today. You can't tell me Frank wasn't a motherfucking black man, because black people, we always know how to put that thing on something, give it that swag, and ain't no white person putting no swerve on no letters. No, they too straight laced for that. I don't care. He was black. So the soft drink was first sold to the public at the soda fountain in Jacob's Pharmacy, much like Pepsi, in Atlanta on May 8th, 1886. About 9 servings of the soft drink were sold each day. Sales for that first year added up to a total of about $50, which was huge back then. The first year of business wasn't much of a success, though, as it cost Pemberton over $70 in expenses to create the drink, resulting in a loss. In 1887, another Atlanta pharmacist and businessman, Asa Candler, bought the formula for Coca-Cola from Pemberton for $2,300. Whoa. Unfortunately, Pemberton died just a few years later. Wow, he should have kept that for his family. Oh my God. By the late 1890s, Coca-Cola was one of America's most popular fountain drinks, largely due to Candler's aggressive marketing of the product. With Candler now at the helm, the Coca-Cola Company increased syrup sales by over 4,000% between 1890 and 1900. While the Coca-Cola Company denies this claim, historical evidence shows that it is likely that until 1905, the soft drink, which was marketed as a tonic, contained extracts of cocaine as well as the caffeine-rich cola nut. While cocaine wasn't considered illegal until 1914, according to Live Science, Candler began removing cocaine from the recipe in the early 1900s, and traces of cocaine may have been present in the famous beverage until 1929, when scientists were able to perfect the removal of all psychoactive elements from the coca leaf extract. Wow, these motherfuckers out here bouncing off the walls, baby. Advertising was an important factor in the successful sales of Coca-Cola, and by the turn of the century, the drink was sold across the United States and Canada. Around the same time, the company began selling syrup to independent bottling companies licensed to sell the drink. Even today, the U.S. soft drink industry is organized on this principle. Until the 1960s, both small town and big city dwellers enjoyed carbonated beverages at the local soda fountain or ice cream saloon. Often housed in the drugstore, the soda fountain counter served as a meeting place for people of all ages. Often combined with lunch counters, the soda fountain declined in popularity as commercial ice cream, bottled soft drinks, and fast food restaurants became popular. I want somebody to bring back a drugstore. I think that'd be so stinking cool. Okay, but on April 23rd, 1985, the trade secret New Coke formula, as we previously discussed, was launched in response to declining sales thanks to an increasingly competitive cola market. However, the new recipe was considered a failure. Coca-Cola fans had a negative, some say hostile, reaction to the new recipe, and within 3 months, the original cola that captured the hearts and taste buds of the public returned. The return of the original cola taste came with a new branding of Coca-Cola Classic. I remember all of this, child. New Coke remained on the shelves and in 1992 was rebranded Coke 2 before finally becoming discontinued in 2002. As of 2017, Coca-Cola is a publicly traded Fortune 500 company with more than $41.3 billion in annual revenue. The company has a workforce of 146,200 employees, and its products are consumed at a rate of more than 1 billion drinks per day. That is craziness, but I am here for the shenanigans. Oh my God, I'm so happy that I took the time to learn this about both companies. Now, before I tell you guys which brand I prefer, let's find out who's beating who as far as sales. After doing some research, I found out that since 2004, Coca-Cola has been the market leader according to industry statistics. Pepsi ranks second, followed by Dr. Pepper / Snapple. In 2022, PepsiCo had a market cap of $229.3 billion, while Coca-Cola had a market cap of $268.4 billion. Woo, child, I need to invent a soft drink, goddamn it, because these motherfuckers is out here getting paid. You heard me? Well, after learning all of this information, it has not swayed my opinion on which brand I prefer or love, which one tickles my fancies, which one dances on my taste buds, which one that I'm going to ask for when I go out to a restaurant and I want something to drink, and if I want a cola, which one am I going to choose? Drum roll, please. For me, it's going to be Coca Cola. Yes, I'm a Coca-Cola girl. I grew up drinking Coca-Cola. My mama loved Coca-Cola. She would buy it all the time, whereas my grandmother was a Pepsi drinker. She would fight you over a Pepsi, honey. Do you guys remember the scandal that plagued the nation back in the early, or either the late 80s, early 90s, where people were claiming that they found syringes in their Pepsi cans? Oh my God, I remember being a little girl and my grandmother like in fear, honey, because she was not going to stop drinking her damn Pepsi. So she would literally buy a case of Pepsi and then get it and pour it through like a little drain little thing first before she drank it to make sure wasn't no syringe in it. I think it was somebody, fucking around with it or whatever. And it was never really anything. I think it was a hoax, but I would never forget that. But yes, I love Coca-Cola, love it dearly. I love a cherry Coke. Oh, cherry Cokes are so fucking delicious. I would actually prefer a cherry Coke over a Coke any day. Love it. Live for it. But you guys, tell me, which one do you like? Are you a Coca-Cola girl or are you a Pepsi girl or boy? Let's talk down below. Tell me which one you guys prefer. Let's talk in the comment section, because nobody liked Miracle Whip, child. And I was just shocked by that. Y'all was coming for your girl's throats. But I want to see how many of you fuck with Coca-Cola and how many of you fuck with Pepsi. Also, if this is a series that you guys love, I have so many more ideas for different thises or that I want to bring to you guys weekly. So tell me down below if this is a series that you want me to continue with. Please, please, please continue to support. Thumbs up this video, like, and subscribe to my channel. Share it with your family and friends. I want this to be something really cool and fun for us and informative. Love you guys. Thank you all for tuning in and watching. I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.